Hey everyone, it is so nice to be seen, and we are here again. I'm very excited. We're doing another sponsor spotlight for the EP Mixer DC. It's going to be on Saturday, June 8th at Highline RXR in Arlington, Virginia. So I hope you can make it. And today, we have one of our sponsors for the Mixer, and I'm particularly excited here because I've known this guy for the better part of 20 years. I'm not exactly sure, and I don't know that we talked about this when we were off camera here, but we've known each other for quite a while. He's got a great business that he's operating out of Virginia, and we have with us here today Devin Tullis of Tullis Worldwide Protection. Devin, thank you. I appreciate you.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
No, yeah, for sure. I'm just so glad that you were on board, and you were on board quickly. And I can't tell you how I appreciate that. You're a local sponsor, right? Not every event we do we have a ton of local sponsors. This one we happen to. Again, you were one of the first people that I thought of, and I think the first person that was like, yeah, let's go. So I'm grateful for that. But for those of us who are listening, or for those who are listening that don't know about you or your company, tell us a little bit about it. Tell us how you got started, where you came from, where you work, all that.
Well, Tullis Worldwide Protection is we're based out of Virginia. We specialize in the executive protection and the corporate security. We do a ton of workplace violence work. I started the company in 2006 after getting out of EPI in 2001. Was traveling for about 10 years before I finally became to a position where I could sit behind the desk and actually grow the company, mainly because the birth of my son and my dad being former Secret Service, I knew what it did to a kid to be on the road all the time. So at that point, I said I wasn't going to do that. And I got behind the desk and just started growing a company name instead of just my reputation. And it's been very well. I've been very fortunate.
Well, yeah, one that we said, I think right before we came on here, is that there's some names and faces that you see in the industry all the time, right? I mean, like there's some names, but I was telling you about a guy that I met kind of randomly in Cleveland who was doing work, and and he spent time in Virginia, and he's been in it for a while, right? And he first question, do you know Devin Tullis? I've known that now at this point, it's not quite 20 years, but I'm like, yeah, I've known him for close to 20 years. Like, how do you know? Well, I worked with him down in DC, and this guy and that guy. And you're like, oh, so you've been doing the business for, I mean, solid, um, for damn near what, 14 years, 13 years now doing the business, but then tack on another 10 years. Like technically you could retire, right?
Yeah, I don't see that happening
Yeah,
anytime soon.
right.
No,
Right.
I was
Yeah.
very fortunate. I literally started under a plane for a particular Middle Eastern client on night shifts, did months and months, earned my keep, got pushed up to the next step, to the next step, to the next step, and did CP, I did halls and walls, I did close in, I did advances, and I'm very fortunate that I had that experience because back when I started, you went job to job to job to job to job. There wasn't quite the restrictions there are now on guys working out of state. So, hey, Craig, you got anything? Yeah, I got something. I need you in Florida. Boom, I'm going to Florida. Boom, I'm going to Massachusetts, California, wherever it was, because if you didn't work, you didn't get paid.
Right.
And I think some of the new guys here seem to wait for the phone to ring instead of hustling like I did back in the day. I was on the road 300 days a year for close to 7 years. I loved it.
Wow.
I wouldn't trade the experience for anything. But like I said, I do much better now running a company and being with my family. But I think I've earned that because we spent a lot of time on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's funny that you say that, and I want to reiterate, you started off under a plan. So anybody who's new watching this,
Mm.
you started off on at the graveyard shift,
Oh yeah,
under a plane for months. That you don't start off on coverage, right? You're not
I,
AIC. You are
yeah,
not a shifted.
which
You.
is where a lot of people think they deserve. They go through one EP school. I went through
Mhm.
7 EP schools my first 3 years of being in the business, from EPI to Blackwater, you name it.
Yeah.
And you got to earn your keep. And I think that is so forgotten about these days. They go through one EP school and they're ready to go close in, or work some major celebrity, or even worse, a high threat detail where they don't have the training, they don't have the understanding of how things work yet.
Mhm.
Everyone has to earn their keep and get the experience.
It takes time, and even just to get to, I don't even say just to get to, but like to get to where you're a detail lead, a team lead, a detail leader, whether that's RST, you're on the road, or you're or you're the senior advanced guy, or guy or gal. Like it just takes time. It takes
Mhm.
experience, and it's experience, but also I think I feel like there's a time factor in there of like being able to digest it over and over and over again, to really fine tune what it is that you do and how you do it,
Mhm.
which then allows you to eventually stand out. Like, hey, this is how Devin worked when he goes out, and we get really good things. And hey, we might actually move him into a different spot. He becomes a senior advanced guy. We're going to have him start training people because he's so good. Um,
Mhm.
and 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 yeah, I think that I think that does get missed, and I just think it's just a time, it's a matter of experience, but definitely of time. So
I had a mentor,
any
and I think you know him,
yeah,
Tom Krieg.
sure.
We were talking one time, and he was just like, the way I judge people is I ask them how long they've done halls and walls, how long have they done a CP, how long have they done close in, how long have they done advance, and he goes, how long have you done halls and walls? And I looked at him and I was, no idea, gazillion hours. He goes, exactly.
Right.
Now you know you have experience. So when you can't count the amount of hours you've done, you can't even fathom knowing how many hours you've done on a particular task,
Mhm.
then you have some experience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he was a great
And
guy.
that
Still
and
is.
that yeah, right. And yeah. And that never technically it never stops, because if you need to cover, and every other, especially if you run a company, right? And you might be past that growth part, but it's like, if everybody's taken up and the only person that can go work halls and walls is the most senior guy, guess who's going to go work halls and walls? Maybe you might get rotated, things
Yeah.
like that, but I don't think it ever really ends. Of like, hey, you've done it before. This is where you what is it, cut your teeth. Like, this is just part of it. It's all part of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 100%. I learned back in the day, another mentor of mine said, I said, come on, why don't you go out with us, man? Prince is going here. We're going to this place. We're going on the jets. And he's like, I've been in this business 30 years. He goes, I'll do CP. He goes, I'll get paid for my 12 hours just as much as you. I'll eat 3 square meals. I'll be in air conditioning. I'll go home when my shift is over.
yeah,
He goes, you'll be out for 15, 16 hours getting the same pay as 12, running all over,
yeah,
and I learned. So towards the end of the career, I started looking for the oldest or the youngest client on a detail, and I would take them because it was the most doable, most easy without the stress, and let the younger guys go out there and stay out for 16, 18-hour days. I'm
right,
okay with it.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
You
yeah.
learn. That's
Like,
experience.
yeah, right, exactly, right. Yeah, that's funny. So cool. Well, then, with your company's been in business for a long time. What do you so what do you get excited about? What are you excited about for 2024? What's coming up, that is there anything specifically, or overall, like, what are you looking forward to this year?
I don't see anything in particular in the sense, just continuing growth. Every year we're growing and we're learning more and more about the business, and B, running a business. So it's really coming together, and that too is another issue that takes time and learning. Tons of failures, and hopefully a ton of success to come out of it.
Yeah. Well, ton of failures too. And when you say, like, when you say that, I think of, like, they might not be these big catastrophic things that are like, oh man, that set us back 6 months. It's like, oh, we've been doing, our operational efficiency piece. We've been doing this, when if we did this, we cut out, 12 hours a week of admin or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like
It's
it's fine
experience.
tuning
Everything is about
what you do.
experience and actually doing it on the ground and learning. You can only read so much. You can only be taught so much off of YouTube University. You
Yeah.
got to get out, get your hands dirty, do the actual work, make some mistakes, learn from them, and
Yep.
do the best that you can to improve on them.
Yeah, and try, like, improve on them, and at least not go backwards, or
Hmm.
continuously make the same mistake. So yeah, I get that. Um, you know, one of the as we were talking about before, um, you know, obviously I believe in networking, big time. And what we were, we could have gotten into a real conversation like, wait, and if we don't get there, it's okay. But I was like, wait, this is good stuff for the spotlight. So, so we stopped there. But why did you decide to sponsor this mixer in particular, or just in general? Why did you think that sponsoring a networking mixer was important?
I'm huge on networking. I go to a lot of the different conferences. That gives me the ability to meet new people. I personally think, as the owner or the detail leader, it's my job to know which personality is going to fit with each client. Every client is different, to a little to a lot. It really depends. But I truly believe in networking as much as possible. It's the only way you're going to grow in a business. And that's the only way. Back in the day, before the internet and all that other stuff, cell phones and all that stuff, when I first got into it, if you didn't know somebody, they weren't going to call you for a job because they needed somebody. It's a lot easier now, but the networking is still so critical to a business owner, to a brand new guy, to a senior guy. You got to know somebody.
Yeah.
I think it was Tom Krieg that also said that if you don't know somebody within 2 phone calls, they're not established in a business.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That I
networking is great. Everybody should go to these networks and meet other guys. You've got a great lineup. Josh Sullivan, Brandon, great guys
Yeah.
coming to this event, and
Yep.
people can get a tremendous amount from them.
Yeah, and that was and Josh had also been like, hey, listen, if you're going to do one in DC, like, let me know. I want to be part of it. And
Yeah,
I mean, he said that I think after the first one I did in 2021, like it was the early iteration of what became the EP Mixer. And he was on board right away. But you and I, both EPI grads, we, that was something that Dr. Kovitz talked about. I don't want to say incessantly, but he talked about it
that's the
a lot.
motto:
Um,
networking.
yeah, and it was just so important to him, and this was a guy who was like kind of starting, to say that I know the histories so specifically, to say he started it, but he was there at the beginning of like really turning this into this type of job into like civilian protection of
Career
like
and a
CEOs and things like that. It was
respectable uh,
yeah,
career path, sure.
yeah,
And back then, it was nothing but word of mouth.
hmm
There was no internet, there weren't the
yeah,
phones and all that good stuff, no advertising. You either knew, somebody knew, and that's how word got out about you.
yeah, yeah. There's I'm certainly I'm no Grant Cardone. If you don't know who that is, people don't know who that is. He's a big personality on like YouTube, Instagram, all the social media stuff. Real estate development, it's his thing, and he gets money right. And he's just like he is. He seems insane, but he's high energy. And I was watching something one time that he was. It was a kind of like a class, or it was a YouTube. It might have been like it was on YouTube, but it might have been like one of his videos, or it was a clip or something. But anyway, he starts talking about it's like what I think it was, what do wealthy people do, and take out wealthy and put like, what do business owners do? What do successful people do? Because wealth is a symptom of being successful, not the thing that makes you successful, but it's one of those things that you can maybe kind of gauge from. And he goes, what do wealthy people do? And he goes up to this like whiteboard and he writes down, it's the first thing he wrote was network. And I'm like, yeah. And what he said, he's like, what? Or he goes, rich people or wealthy people network with or hang out with wealthy people. And it was like, I was thinking about that today, and I'm like, protection specialists, protectors, EP, whatever you want to call them, hang out with other EP guys a lot of the time, right? Business owners are talking to each other all the time.
Mhm.
If you're new, you're not necessarily, and you're coming to the industry, you're not necessarily reaching for the CEO of the company. I'm not saying you can't. I've done it plenty of times, but you're reaching for the person that's in the position that you want, right? You go to the guy or the gal that is an RST. They're on halls and walls. Maybe they lucked out and got a driver spot somehow, early on. Like, what are they doing? How do you get in touch with them? Well, if you go to a school, you have a built-in network, right? And when other schools are graduating, because when Joe's course is going to graduate, it's posted. You see it.
Yeah.
You know when ESI is going to happen. You know when Golden Seal or Pac West or any of those schools that are out there, Icon. They tell you when they're going to graduate, and then you hit LinkedIn right after that. And hey, I'm new too, and you start getting yourself into it. But I don't know if you said it during this talk or before, but it's like, you know, nobody's going to come knock on your door when you're brand new. They're just not.
Nope.
Is that you have to go banging. You have to the companies submitting
Can't wait.
resumes. Yes, that's important, but getting in front of the people that maybe they're not the decision makers, but those are the people that are, but the other people that are new or that are, just in, can be a bit of an advocate for you. Maybe, but also, like you said, you got to know somebody. Somebody's got to know you, and they got to know you in the way that you would want them to know you, to be able to put their name on you to go maybe help you get a job. Or whether it's with their company or not, it's just saying, hey, listen, this is here's what you need to do. Here's some pointers. Here's how I got hired, and you should do that. Success leaves clues, that kind of stuff.
Well, what I get tons of resumes and tons of calls off the website and everything for guys looking for employment, especially because we market in multiple states. And I tell them, listen, I don't need you right now, but check in with me 2 or 3 weeks. Just a quick courtesy text. Hey, how are you? Hey, this is Craig. Just want to let you know I'm still available. I'm out of Arizona, wherever you are. So, because I already have my call tree of people. But eventually that call tree is going to be occupied and I'm going to need additional. And then all of a sudden I'm going to go, oh, that guy Craig's in Arizona. Let me reach out to him. So I just tell people, hey, be courteous. Don't kill me with emails and text messages, but don't just wait for me to call you. Touch in with me, remind me that you're available, remind me of your skills, make it quick, convenient, and then eventually I'm going to need you, and I'll remember you at that point.
Yeah. Well, and I talk about this in my Art of Networking class, is it's consistency, not constantly. Every 2-3 weeks, shoot me a text. It's like you're telling them every 2 or 3 weeks, shoot me a text, right? Hey man, how you been? What's going on? Still available? Or let me know if you got something. That's great. Now I know you're getting experience, but still check in, every few months.
Keep that name on the top of the list. Yeah. If you want to stay on the top of the list, you got to be on the top.
Right. And that comes from, and the top of the list is the top of mind, right? I just talked to somebody from Arizona. Yeah. And then you're and because you have a year long of text or a year, text chain or record,
right?
You go back through and you're just, looking, you keyword search like that. The technology helps speed it up too.
I put a lot in the effort. If they do the effort and they want it, they'll fight for it. I know I did when I got into the business, so I have a huge amount of respect for that, and I still think today that's the way it should be done.
Yeah, agreed. That's I mean, well, obviously we could go on and on here. I also know that you're busy, and I appreciate you taking this time to talk. So tell people, anybody's listening, where they can learn more about you or Tullis Worldwide.
We have a website, tullisworldwide.com. There's a lot of information on there about the services and the types of people that we bring on. Word of mouth, talk to other people. I think we have a good reputation from other people that we've worked with as clients or vendors, guys that we've trained with, or they can just call me directly. I have no problem being called to the carpet if there was ever an issue or a question. I'll be straight with you.
Yeah. Awesome. And you're also, I mean, you're on LinkedIn, you're on Instagram, I believe. And I know that's not necessarily your where the most information is, but it's but you're out there.
I got someone that handles that for me. So right. We are on Instagram, Facebook. A couple of those social media platforms.
But the website is where to go, is what you're telling us.
Or just call me.
And here, if you're new and you're listening, or if you're not new and you're looking, I can tell you that Devin we've had a number of conversations over the years, wisdom coming out of his ears. So take him up on his offer. If he's willing to answer the phone, you should definitely be willing to call. So anyway, Devin, again, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate you sponsoring. I appreciate you jumping on as quick as you did. Which fills me with confidence and gratitude. So I appreciate you for doing it.
Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, brother. Take
Awesome.
care.
Right.
Thank you so much,
Appreciation.
man.
Yeah. So everybody, listen again. It is Saturday, June 8th at Highline RXR in Arlington, Virginia, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. We tried the afternoon shift this time. Going to see how that turns out. I'm really excited to be there. To be there. I'm excited that you're going to be there. And my brother and dad are going to be there too. So come meet them and say hi. But anyway, listen, thank you so much for watching. That's all I got. Hope you have a great one. I'll talk to you real soon.